Hi there! I'm glad you're here again on our channel and ready to watch 15 more stories about the people who do care about animals that badly need support. Here are the videos that will make you feel proud for humans of that kind. So, get ready to be touched again. Early in the morning, Lori from Wildlife Aid received a call asking him to save the frightened fox. The poor guy is stuck in a basement light well. Lori came on call and with the help of a fireman coped with the task pretty quickly. They cornered the fox. The wild animal did not resist and let the noose be thrown over itself calmly. The fox was placed in a carrier and safely taken to the nearest forest, where the animal was released. A homeless dog wandered into a real ghost town, but someone alive still noticed him and called hope for Paws so that rescuers would catch the poor boy. Rescuers immediately went to the rescue operation. They needed to find a blue-eyed dog. When rescuers found a street dog, they tried to lure him with tasty treats, but this did not work. Suddenly, the train started to move. No one expected this in the abandoned city. The poor dog got scared of the train. But the rescuers followed the dog, waited for him for many hours, but they had to act more decisively. They closed the area to prevent the dog from escaping. Rescuers did not want to leave the poor dog for the night in this terrible city. The dog was caught and named Prince. And since he had such a beautiful name, they gave him spa treatments to make him look like a prince. After a while, a real royal house with good owners was found for the prince. When the Cuckoo Gaga Reservoir was opened, the wildlife officers bravely set out to rescue wild animals in trouble. They arrived at the Cuckoo Gaga Reservoir and moved from cars to boats. As soon as they were in the water, the men immediately set about rescuing wild animals. In the beginning, they came across many small lizards that needed human help. Then, larger animals began to appear on their way, and even snakes. Not everyone made contact easily. Some of the animals were terrified. Sometimes the rescuers lacked a stick with a noose and the men had to climb trees to rescue poor animals. Unfortunately, some of the animals ended up right in the water and floundered with their last strength. The animals were very stressed, and sometimes rescuers had to use force to place the animal in a cage or bag. When all the animals were saved, the rescuers returned to land and began to take the animals out of the boat. They had saved many lives. Then all these rescued animals were moved to a car and taken to a safe habitat for them. Arriving in the forest, the men began to release all the saved animals into the wild. Some ran away immediately, and some were a little afraid to leave the cage. But now, everyone is free and happy. And one rescuer even decided to take a picture for memory with one of the snakes. The girl accidentally noticed a drowning chipmunk in her pool and immediately caught him out. He swallowed too much water, but the girl helped the baby to recover. The chipmunk was happily rescued from the pool. The cutie had only to dry up and fully recover from everything that happened. Two antler hunters saw the elk calf trapped. The kid got stuck in the fence and couldn't get out himself. The men immediately went to his aid.
You're okay. Okay, honey.
The rescuers freed the stuck leg of the wild animal, and the elk immediately fled into the forest, happy and free. Animal shelter rescuers saved the life of this poor skinny dog. Due to a serious injury to his jaw, the poor dog could not even eat food. He was so thin that his ribs were visible. He could not eat food for a long time. The poor fellow was taken to the veterinarian. He was named Faye. The dog underwent several mouth surgeries. Fortunately, Faye was recovering quickly, and after a month, he was healthy. He was discharged from the hospital and found a new family. Now Faye lives not only in a caring family, but also has close friends in this family. Faye is happier than ever. After being hit by a car, the poor thing did not want to trust anyone. She was very scared. A terrible pain she experienced wouldn't let the dog calm down. She had a broken hind leg and a huge bleeding wound on her thigh. Rescuers urgently took her to the clinic. After being examined by a doctor, it turned out that the poor dog had not only femur fractures. The exhausted dog had a host of other complications, such as urethral rupture, anemia, infections, and severe abdominal bleeding. She had to undergo many operations. She was named Ahua. Ahua is a strong dog. Hopefully she will fully recover soon and find a loving family. This elderly dog had a huge tumor on its belly. To save her, the doctors had to carry out 2 operations. In the first operation, the dog named Blanca was also sterilized. No one knew how Blanca would undergo surgery because she is already in an old age. She's about 11 years old, but luckily, everything went great. Blanca has successfully recovered and found a new home. This dog was lucky to be spotted on time because she could not hold out for long in such a position. The poor animal fell into a very deep well. Fortunately, she found a small ledge and clung to it for several terrifyingly long hours. The dog was noticed by local children and told about it. Then a rescue team was urgently called. When rescuers from Animal Aid Unlimited arrived, the dog was already very exhausted. The rescuers got the poor fellow and took him to their center for rest and recuperation. Animal Control contacted Southeastern Reptile Rescue and asked them to rescue the reptiles. Their owner went to jail, and there was no one to look after the pets. Therefore, the rescuer drove to their house across Atlanta to pick up the reptiles. When the man arrived, he saw that, unfortunately, not all the snakes were alive. All snakes were non-venomous, mostly in aquariums, reticulated pythons. They are very beautiful and calm. There were also pets on the second floor of the house, lizards and a small common snapping turtle. All the reptiles were moved into containers and taken back by car across the city. In general, the rescuer noted that all the surviving snakes are in good condition, despite the cool house where they were. All are beautiful and in different colors. Now it remains to find a new home for everyone, which is not going to be a problem at all. During the night shift, road workers saw a small flying fox. The baby fell into a gutter right next to a busy road. The men called the mega baddie lifeguard. By the time the rescuer arrived, the workers put the victim in a box. The baby somehow broke away from her mother, but her mother was never found. The lifeguard examined the little girl, gave the baby a pacifier, and took her to her place. Mega Baddie measured the size and weight of the baby. The flying fox looked only about 15 days old. The rescuer gave the baby glucose and dripped her eyes, but the cub still did not feel very well. The recovery of this girl depends on the hidden trauma she could have received and on her will to live. The poor kid suffered from terrible pain all alone until the kind person noticed him. The man could not walk past the puppy and asked the local rescuer for help. The little puppy was urgently taken to the veterinarian clinic. Every minute was important. The kid felt very bad. He was bitten by some ruthless big dog. The boy had lost a lot of blood. The doctors did their best to help the baby. They provided not only medical care, but also gave him love, which is so lacking for street animals, especially for young ones. The puppy's wounds are starting to dry up and he is feeling better, but he still has a path to complete restoration and search for a new home. The man did not expect to see a koala on the road, much less a mother koala with her child. The man suggested that they were lost and they needed help finding their home. Therefore, without hesitation, he called the rescuers and described the situation. In just a few minutes, the rescuers were already in place. The rescue team took this little family for a while. The koala mother was named Helen, and her son was named Mia. To great joy, they turned out to be absolutely healthy, and therefore, after a week, they were safely released into the wild. Many members of the team came to see this lovely family out. Hopefully these koalas don't get lost anymore and don't end up in human living areas. The illegal wildlife trade is terrible. A huge number of animals suffer at the hands of poachers, especially in Africa. In Africa alone, about 300 cheetahs are illegally captured per year. There are very few of them left. The Environment Ministry and Cheetah Conservation Fund fight to preserve the cheetah population. And during the year in Somaliland, several dozen cheetah cubs were saved. When Hurricane Laura swept across the south of the USA, all people were in a panic and did not know what to do. Not everyone was able to take their pets with them. Because of this, the shelters were overcrowded. One shelter in South Texas even had 13 dogs queued to be euthanized, including even a cute young husky. But luckily, there are kind people like Suzanne Burnley from Muddy Paws Rescue. The girl has fostered 35 different animals over 6 years. All animals have their own history, but many have survived natural disasters like Hurricane Laura. That's all for this video, and I really hope you were as impressed with all these people as I was. Don't forget to support the rescuers with your likes, subscriptions, and donations. And if you want to relax after such emotionally impressive content, go to Amazing Things channel. There is a great amount of unbelievable stuff to blow your mind. See you next time.